Welcome back to Cubbyhole Conversations. Today I'm going to read to you from He Walks Among Us. Why? Because this particular subject really hit home for me today, and I wanted to share it with you, so I'm going to. One stone at a time. We often seek to do big things for God rather than the small thing right in front of us. We kept at it, repairing and rebuilding the wall. The whole wall was soon joined together and halfway to its intended height because the people had a heart for the work. Nehemiah 4:6, the message. Nehemiah found the status quo unacceptable. Decades after the Babylonians had destroyed the holy city, the great wall surrounding Jerusalem still lay in ruins. To Nehemiah, this was a disgrace in the eyes of God, and it saddened him. When I heard these things, I sat down and wept. For some days I mourned and fasted and prayed before the God of heaven. Nehemiah 1:4. Then this one man embraced a vision to do the impossible. He would lead the Jews in rebuilding the Great Wall and give honor to God by restoring this symbol of God's greatness. As the president of World Vision, I can relate to a large and daunting problems like the one Nehemiah faced. 2 billion people in the world live in desperate poverty, and nearly 20,000 children under the age of 5 needlessly die every day. Trying to save the world can be overwhelming and discouraging. But God gave me a different perspective on this through a 6-year-old boy named Vikas. It was the last day of a trip to India, just after the Gujarat earthquake, in the very last village I visited. As we were driving away, a desperate and pleading mother ran up to the window of my car. The driver kept going, but I had just enough time to see her holding a little boy with no feet. And then they were gone. That image burned itself into my mind, and when I returned home, I couldn't get it out of my head. I had been trying to facilitate help for the thousands who had been affected by the earthquake, but the Lord seemed to be showing me this one little boy. A few emails, and a few weeks later, World Vision India located Vikas. I learned that his legs had been crushed in the earthquake, and it would cost about $300 for surgery and prosthetic limbs. I felt convicted that I should pay for this because I knew that seeing Vikas was no accident. Clearly, God had shown this little guy to me. And even though tens of thousands of victims needed help, I knew they would all have to be helped one at a time. Nehemiah understood that great walls are repaired just one stone at a time. So he organized the people to each do their part. Above the horse gate, the priests made repairs, each in front of his own house. Nehemiah 3:28. The impossible task of rebuilding the wall of Jerusalem was completed in 52 days because each person tackled the section of the wall that lay right in front of them. A few months later, I received an email from India with a photograph of little Vikas smiling and standing on his brand new legs. Oswald Chambers once wrote, "The great hindrance in spiritual life is that we will look for big things to do." Jesus took a towel and began to wash the disciples' feet. God's heart is broken today over the ruins of poverty, injustice, and suffering in this world. Do you weep for those who suffer just as Nehemiah wept for Jerusalem? Don't stop there. Act. What section of the wall has God placed in front of you? Rich Stearns. Lately, there's been a continuous theme getting repeated in my life, and it's things such as grow where you're planted, start small, look at what you have and start there. Look at your local neighborhood. Who's close to you? What can you do? And where can you start? Start close to home. Start with what's right in front of you. I leave you today with that thought. What's right in front of you? Have a great week. God bless. We'll see you next time on Cubbyhole Conversations.